on this thing doesn't solve the torque issue, but what it does do is it brings a new emotion to the driving experience, and that is the emotion of fear. I own an S2000 and I'm not scared of it because I'm used to it, but this thing is totally different. It's a different animal completely. You have to be extra careful with the throttle because the boost is kind of unpredictable. It does come in along with VTEC, so the hit of torque you get when you do get on it, it's pretty substantial. It's also way faster, so when you're going into corners, you have to brake a lot harder, which means that it takes a lot of more physicality to drive this car than to drive it stock. You do get all of that good old S2000 handling characteristic. The rotation and the way it changes direction is still the same. Just gotta be a lot more careful that you're not on throttle while you're doing that, or else you're gonna have a bad time. All that extra torque is gonna kick you in the ass. Apart from some minor hearing damage, driving this thing has been a blast. It is a really fun car. The sound, the dynamic of just hitting boost and hitting 9,000 RPM on boost and then hearing the blow-off valve go off like crazy is something that you just don't get anywhere else. It is truly an amazing experience. Now, I do like the turbo car. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I do feel that it has some drawbacks to it. So it's been a few days since I drove that turbo S2000, and ever since I drove it, I've been looking in the internet, trying to see if I can find a way to turbo my car, because I just had so much fun in it. But every time I've been looking at the internet, I've always been having second thoughts about it, because this is a car I enjoy very much. And for some reason, I feel like if I turbo my car, it would be a mistake. So I was trying to put my finger on it and I couldn't, so I thought I'd take my car for a spin to see if I could come up with a solid conclusion as to why I'm hesitant to do the same thing to my car, because I really enjoyed the experience of driving that turbo car. And I think I came up with something. So the thing about that turbo S2000 is that it was very fun. The sound and the experience and everything that it provided on top of the already excellent experience you get in an S2000 was very good. But the car takes so much more effort to drive in a manner in which you can have fun that honestly I'm not really sure if it's worth it. Take for example the clutch that car had. It had a stage 3 racing clutch, and instead of being a gradual experience that you're just using the clutch, it becomes a bit of an on-off switch, and it takes the experience of getting going from a standstill, from something you can do without thinking about it much, to something that you have to think about a lot. And to me, one of the beauties of the S2000 is just that it's a very simple car that you don't have to take as seriously. This one, for example, I can just throw it to a corner, and if it slides a little bit, I just correct it, and it was a fun time. That one, I couldn't quite do it the same way. First, because it wasn't my car, and also because if I did, I think the risk of having so much more power in this chassis is a lot higher, so the margin for error is a lot smaller, so you start to think about more of the things you're doing rather than just driving and enjoying the experience. And it really takes the car from something I usually drive a few times a week to the work, and it really turns it into a car that I would only ever use on the weekends, and I would have to think really hard about it. So the turbo car is awesome, but it's just not for me. I'm very sad to say that because it was a really fun time, but I just love my car as it is.